Hi, we're here today to celebrate and recognize the Duncan Butler family at the Queen Anne's County Fair for being recognized as one of the farm families. It will be Wednesday night at 6:45 at the main show ring. We want to say congratulations to the Duncan Butler family, which have been in Queen Anne's County for a very, very long time. Good afternoon, good morning, welcome, and congratulations to the whole family. We're so excited to recognize you. You've been a long-standing and recognized farm family in Queen Anne's County. Your service to Queen Anne's County is commendable community service, and we're so excited to have you here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a board of your peers, board of farmers, that chose you as the farm family this year, in addition to the John Draper family. So we're just very happy and tickled to have you here. Beanie, let's go back a few years. Let's talk about your farm family. And Joyce Ann, your sister, you're still here on the home farm, farming with the whole family, which I know you're very excited about having everybody involved in the farm. Your mom and dad lived here on the farm. And where did you originate? Let's go back a few years, just past your early years, and go back. Was your family originally from Queen Anne's County? Caroline County. So where did you start? When did your family in Caroline County, have they always been here? Did they originate from the Caroline County area?
Caroline County, yeah.
Caroline County. And
back in those days, you tenant farm.
Okay.
One year you might tenant farm on this farm, and next year you might move next door.
So what do you mean by tenant farm? Explain to the people that aren't familiar with tenant farming. What does that exactly mean?
I don't really understand, but in January, you would talk to your landlord. If he was going to let you stay there, you stayed another year. If not, you would go find another person who owned a piece of land and try to move there for most time you change every couple of years.
Right. So you don't necessarily own the farm. You just lease it from the farm.
Just lease it.
So, and a lot of times it would be maybe on a year-to-year basis or a long-term basis. Right.
Now it's a little more different. It's a little more complicated with the way things are. You get a long-term lease or 2 or 3 year lease or something. You can lease a lot of ground for people.
Right. So
a lot of people like to own the ground because it just gives you something to look forward to at the end, I guess. Whatever,
Yeah.
But
something that you could pass along. Just
yeah.
exactly like your parents did for you and your sister and the family. Tell us a little bit about the farming operation that your parents and grandparents had over in Caroline County. Was it a traditional grain farm? Did you have animals, or what type of farming did you actually do?
He done a lot of hay baling for custom hay baling. They milk cows. They had 10 or 15 cows, I guess, whatever. Back them days, in 1950s, he was still milking them by hand or so what. So you didn't have too many. That's
quite an undertaking. And from some of the past farm families that I've had a conversation with, the average size herd was 25 or 30 cows. So 115 cows was a lot of animals.
Yeah.
Mom was a town girl. Mom was born and raised in Easton.
Yeah, she was in Easton.
And but she always loved her grandparents lived in Cordova on the farm, so she was there all the time, and that's how her and Dad met. Was her cousin? She was staying with her cousin, helping him and his wife, Bill Council, Beijing Council. She just had another child, and she was there helping, and that's how her and Dad met.
Oh. So after their courtship, then she moved to Caroline County with your father on the farm.
They only dated like 3 months. They met in July and they were married in October.
Well, they must have known that it was meant to be.
Yes, I don't know. That was Mom's story. He was supposed to take her to Harrington Fair that was her first date, and he never got there till like 10 o'clock at night because their grandfather sent him to buy a small herd of cows.
Wow, on top of the 115 you already had.
No, 15 or 20.
15 or 20.
Oh, okay.
15 or 20.
And he went bought a few more.
I thought you said that a minute ago. No, I said they milked 10 or 15.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Like I said, that was a big. Then, like you said, if they had 25 cows, that was a big.
Right.
And so he showed up, and she said, "I changed my clothes. I was sitting on the porch mad, but I went out with him anyway." She said so.
So after Caroline, when did your family move from Caroline County to Queen Anne's?
1955.
1955. And
in April.
Were you born in Queen Anne's County or Caroline County?
Caroline County.
Caroline County. So it wasn't long after you were born they migrated here to Queen Anne's County. So how did they decide to move to the Berkeley area?
Well,
do you know?
We lived there, and it was getting ready to be sold. we had no place to go. So my grandmother was still alive, and she talked my father into. They went and looked at several different farms, and somehow or another they happened upon this one here and decided this is where they wanted to go.
Okay, so what year were you born, Beanie?
1952.
52. And Joyce Ann, you were next in line?
56.
56.
I was born.
Okay.
I was born here.
Right, you were born here on the farm. So when roughly did both of you start working with your mom and dad?
Forever.
Whenever, yeah.
I mean, as far back as you can.
I was
Yeah.
5, 6 years old. I followed Mom around to help feed the calves. Bucket feed the calves. He was
We had
milking
no
cows.
there was
all
no
the time.
babysitters or nothing. Then you just went and done.
You followed them around.
As usual, you just kind of catch in as you just screwed up with the problem. I guess you call it whatever. You just went along with it.
They put us to work instead of
Right.
Yeah, everybody done the same
had-
thing, I guess, back then. Like say, you didn't
Everybody.
get to get them go to a babysitter like to do nowadays or whatever, and get whatever. You
Right.
just follow along.
The year that I was born, I don't know what was going on, but every farm had a child born within 4 months. Must have been a cold winter. The Everetts had Dee, and I was born. The Stradlings had Lynn, and the Bentons had Shirley. And everybody had a little herd of cows, and everybody just pitched in and worked. I was never the house girl. And my mother didn't like housework either. She'd rather be out washing the milkers and washing the cows or helping with milking and getting the cows up than she was in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
She liked to cook. She didn't like to clean, neither do I.
So pretty much as long as you can remember, you were. So when you came from Caroline County, you still had the cows.
Yeah.
So you started milking cows here. So when did you get rid of the dairy cows?
1973.
73.
Now we notice in the background that you have some beef cows.
Yeah.
Did you start right away with the beef cows after the dairy cows, or did you
No.
have beef during the dairy?
No,
or?
we started farming with steers. We were buying steers and raising and feeding out steers.
We did that.
We always had a few of them along. Of course, at the time when we sold the cows, we had probably 250 heifers,
Yes.
and we were going to start back milking. We sold them like in April or May, and we was going to start back in September.
Right.
But when September come, the price of the heifers kept going up, and the man would come in and buy 2 or 3 as they was coming fresh. So they used to say we didn't milk no more cows.
Yeah, and that time of the year, you were busy getting ready to start
Everything else.
shelling corn.
Everything
And,
else.
Their father
Yes.
did not like milking cows.
no?
He'd do everything but the actual milking. He just hated it.
Milking it.
Yeah.
He'd chop silage. It was somebody else milked the cows.
Right.
And he liked having the milk check. That was Mom always saying. She said,
That was the only thing
he
he missed was the milk.
hated milking cows, but it was,
He liked the milk check.
he liked the milk check. We always did that.
But after a while, you miss that,
Yeah.
It goes-
The post office in Barclay burnt down. I guess I was 7 or 8 years old, and
Yeah.
Dad was riding by, and
It was on Sunday afternoon. We'd been over to Nelson Corporal's. We used to live in the back country there. We were coming back home getting ready to milk the cows, and we watched the lightning strike. There used to be a little store and the
Yes.
post office on one side, on both sides.
Right.
They struck that building and busted into flames. We tried to get into the store, couldn't get into the store, and he busted the door down to the post office. Grabbed all the stuff out of the post office.
Grabbed everybody's mail, but Eric.
And the other side was part of it was a barbershop too. They got the chair out, the soda machine, and there was 2 or 3 there by the end. But they found most everybody's mail in there but theirs.
So your father went into the burning down post office and got everybody else's mail
And their
except
milk
his
check
own.
It
was
was
in
just
there.
starting in at the time.
That was Mom said we had a heck of a month and had a milk check for a month.
We finally got it, but like you say, it just
She
Yeah.
always had it
Everybody got
spent
their mail
before it
except for
came.
Eric.
You know how it is.
and they could have got it mixed up and lost or something. You never know. Whatever.
Right.
But,
He got a lot of the mail. Of course, he was a big firefighter when he was in Goldsboro. He loved the fire company in Goldsboro.
Right.
Then
Yeah.
when they moved here, it was Sellersville was not really that far away, but he didn't have any sirens back then. I mean, so he didn't become a firefighter. And then, like say, he's way too far for Goldsboro, so he.
Right.
But then later years, he went back and he he started doing the chicken barbecue dinners for the NASCAR race and everything, and then he was always up there.
Yeah.
Cooking
He ended up
or
going
doing
into the fire company, not the fire company, but the
Delays auxiliary.
auxiliary. He was a member of that for a year.
Philip helped do that.
I don't know,
So
some kind of a part-time member into the fire company he was.
So you're talking about your dad cooking chicken and doing that for the fire company or whatever. Don't you get a little involved in that too, Beanie?
No,
Cooking chicken?
no.
You used to. I know you'd help down at the fairs cooking, and you would do events. You know.
We do some weddings, some friends that we have. Okay, can't you? Yeah,
Yeah.
We do a few things. We don't like to get too.
we're always cooking a chunk of beef here or there somewhere. Not chicken too much.
I think it's more than what you realize that you do. You do that a lot for people. You actually did that for my parents' anniversary.
Yeah.
And for those people that don't know, pretty much you call up Beanie and he'll say, "Yeah, I'll do it." He's always very generous with his time, and he's a good cook on top of that. I know your family helps, but you absolutely know what you're doing when it comes to cooking beef and pork. And
We fight a lot, but we work well together.
yes. Talk about that relationship a little bit. How is the relationship working? Sometimes it's tough working with family.
It's way tough.
Yeah, and
Well,
it's
you learn. I shouldn't say this, I guess, but me and my father, we argued every day. Mm-hmm. My father was that was his way of.
Communicate.
That's the way he got along. There was no, it didn't matter who it was. If you said it was white, he would swear up and down it was brown or purple or something.
but you agree to disagree.
Yeah, at the end, yeah.
Yep.
5 minutes later, you'd be back off doing something else or whatever.
Right. And when you farm with family, you don't have any choice but to get along.
Either that or go, like a
Yeah.
lot of people do, they separate.
Yeah.
But with these, like my son and me, we very seldom ever, you just learn to, you just go on, it's just everyday cool,
Luckily,
You don't
his
do anything
children
like that.
didn't inherit this. His children are very laid back. Very.
Yeah, I
Duncan
think-
does. If Duncan argues with you or gets
Something's
mad,
really
then you
bad.
know something's really bad.
Really bad.
Jennifer is very. Duncan,
Very,
he's just. If it wasn't for Duncan, some days there wouldn't be anything here because he's gotten in between us.
Right.
He's a peacekeeper.
Okay, so your son Duncan is the peacekeeper, and
much, yeah.
you keep everything kind of even keeled, right, Duncan?
Yep.
Yep.
He does that.
How many times do you have to break them up during the day?
Nah, not very often. It ain't that bad. Some
Yeah.
days.
So Duncan, let's talk to you for just a second. So are you here on the farm full time?
Yes, ma'am. I live here now.
Okay, so you're working. So you're the third generation,
Yep.
Duncan Butler the third. Yes.
And the fourth one.
And now you have the fourth
Yep.
along with you, and I know he's right here hand in hand on the farm too.
Yes,
Right, little
indeed.
Duncan? You love the farm, don't you? So, Duncan, let's talk about your role in the farm. So, what's your day-to-day grind here on the farm?
Whatever they tell me to do.
Oh, so you're still listening to Dad and Aunt Joy's saying.
That's the problem. He listens too good. He doesn't assert himself as much as he should. But then this one didn't either. So
Yeah.
I mean, he can do anything, and he will do anything. But sometimes he should speak up, and he doesn't.
Right, right. So, Duncan, what does that mean to you, having your son and your grandson here on the farm? How does that make you feel?
I'm very fortunate. A lot of people aren't like that, but
Right,
we get along pretty good. We work together. I mean, somehow or another, everything always gets done.
right,
Right now, it looks like a mess around here, but we're in the process of doing a few changes. So
right.
it's finished up pretty good right at the moment, I think, compared to what it was
Yes.
several
So,
months ago.
so you're seeing that over time from when your father had the farm and now you're running the farm with your family, that we were talking earlier about how you've had to make changes and transition and kind of get up with the times,
Yeah,
you know,
Very
and you
much so.
can't kind of let things
lay back.
as they've always have been.
Right.
Yeah.
We got to
So,
move forward.
and Duncan, how's that for you? I mean, you're the younger generation. You're the next coming in, you know, and how's the new ideas received and,
Well, everything we do right here, it makes things better, makes things easier. So,
right,
I mean, it's making it easier on my generation. You know, the tractors come a long ways. I say we got a lot of concrete and all around here, nice, and
Yep.
You know, I guess we hope to keep the tradition up and try to make it better for my little boy when he comes along and my two nephews.
Right. How about that? CJ, you want to stay here on the farm and farm too? That's something you look forward to? I see you've got a Talbot County Fair shirt on. Does that mean you were showing at the fair this past weekend? Tell us about what you showed at the fair.
I showed a little feeder calf.
Uh-huh.
And a heifer and 2 sheep.
Wow, you were busy. So tell me about the ribbons that you got for your, did you get a ribbon for your sheep?
Yeah.
Got a couple of
I got a couple of,
3rd and 4th place ribbons.
That's really good.
and from my from my little feeder calf, I got first.
That's awesome. You got a blue ribbon? Well, that's great.
We had a little, we had a very old cow, and the calf was 4 or 5 days old, and she didn't make it. And so he's there. I said, well, let's bottle feed him, and he's taking on to him, and he's got him leading. And
That's great. So, CJ, how do you like bottle feeding that calf? Did you have fun doing that?
some days Andy's not fun.
Yeah. That's sometimes that's a little tough feeding a calf because they think you're their mama and they might be a little rough.
He does. He gets rough.
Joyce Ann, tell us who this gentleman is behind you.
This is Philip Spearing, and we were together 30-some years ago, and we went apart. Now, for 4 years, we've been back together, and he's here helping all the time too now. He's a big help. He loves the cows. He's like me. He loves the cows.
That's great. So, Philip, how do you feel like working with the family? Is it a little tough sometimes, you being just kind of coming back into the operation?
I've lived on a farm all my life as well. Work construction, but I lived on a farm all my life. So,
So it's kind of natural for you.
yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah. And it's not easy sometimes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And sometimes when you go out with the animals, you can take a step back from the family. That might be a little help to you. So, Beanie, tell me about what do you think over the years has been the biggest challenge for you farming with family and farming around the Queen Anne's County area? What would you say it's been really tough for you?
It's tough every day, but like you, I don't know. I know what you're asking, but I don't know how to put it in. What you would put into words to.
Dad was a diversifier as far as some things. When we sold the cows, we were already hauling silage from the cannery to the cows. So when we didn't have the cows anymore, then we started hauling. Dad and Beanie started hauling sweet corn from the field to the cannery. We went into the trucking business, and so when they're not farming, then they were trucking.
Right.
And we started, and now the trucks were a headache for me. I just there's a lot of paperwork, a lot, and I hate that part of it. But it brought in money when we needed it, and because with farming, you got your wheat money, you got your corn money, and then you might. We're lucky we've got storage, so we've got money coming in all winter sometimes.
Right.
Other people don't, but that summer when you don't have any money coming in, and the sweet corn was doing good, and it got them away from me for a while. It's always, it was a vacation for me.
Yeah.
Now, that's a young man's game.
Right.
And so now we just haul silage. Duncan's hauling. Right now, today, the cannery is off for the day. They don't have corn ready. But he hauls, and then he hauls us some, and he hauls to other farms. And this one, we have a 10-wheeler that he hauls dirt and stone with for here, and anybody that needs it, he'll go get a load. So he's going, because we have a sand pit across the road here. And
So it's still a very diversified
we're
operation.
diversified. We had the cows, when we started with the cows, you got your calves. We're moving calves now, and Dad always said cow-calf wouldn't make any money. But
He
the
used to
day
say
he
he
died, we
left,
started
and
buying
2 weeks
cows.
later I turned out 20. I turned out 20 cows, so that's one thing. That's a challenge, I guess you would say. Yes,
Right.
my mind was different than what his was about some things, but
And
Some ways he just never would. He wouldn't go
he
along.
wouldn't change. Like say the feeders, he thought made
A
money.
new combine, he'd buy in a heartbeat. Something like that. He said it wasn't feasible. Well, now it seems to be pretty feasible at the time.
Right.
I love the cows. I've always had cows. I love the cows. And it gets harder. Like say, this winter, he was going on vacation. I was sick. I was a dog, and we had one calf born that she was like a month old, and all of a sudden she was all but dead. And you've been through that heartache. You know, this calf's mother was first calf heifer. She was so good with that calf. Duncan picked her up. I tubed her with the bag, got milk down her for 4 days. And
That's tough.
that cow stood there with that calf and all day, all night, kept her nose clean. And that calf is out there now, just a pretty picture out there. But that's the hardship for me
Yeah. Right.
when I lose an
Yeah.
animal. I mean, especially a calf. I just, he gets mad, I get upset. Because, I mean, you know, it's just a life, and you just, you don't want to lose it.
Right.
I don't mind them when they're going to market. I don't mind that at all. But when one's little like that,
Yeah.
it just
It's
upsets
tough.
me now.
Yeah, you know, and you think that people that farm, you know, you get used to, you know, they're just animals out there, but you know,
I can
that's
eat
kind of like your success, you know, when you
Yep.
save an animal like that, and you take it personally. You can't help but take it personally.
I don't care whose cows you are or whatever.
Right.
You're gonna win some and you're gonna lose some.
That's right.
They're not. It's like everything else. Ain't nothing perfect. Just
Yeah.
like farming.
Yeah.
Right now, it looks like a good year.
Yeah.
Just take Talbot County Fair. We took
It'd be
2 heifers
different.
down.
Yeah.
He bought a nice registered heifer, and she was shown. And then we took a home, as he called her, her homegrown. She did better than the registered heifer. I was like, yay! You know? And it's just like 2 years ago, we had one of our steers got reserve champion, and he was a homegrown. And when they drop on this ground, that to me makes it so special
Yes.
that you know you've done something right.
Yep.
When that judge says, that's what I want to see.
Yep. Now,
And
Beanie, you have a daughter as well, Jennifer. And Jennifer, what do you do on the farm? Or are you the same thing as your brother? Just about everything.
Not so much anymore. I'm a teacher at Queen Anne's County
Great.
Elementary.
That's
5th grade.
wonderful.
So I'm only here on weekends and during the summer, my summer vacation. But I don't know. I help out mostly with the animals.
Right.
She helps me with, like, we're breaking the show stock, and she's good at that. She loves sheep. We got the sheep over to my house, and
And you've
always
got
loved the
these
sheep.
two, well, CJ's not a little one anymore.
No.
And he's a showman
No,
now,
he is.
so. But you got another showman on the way up now, too.
This
so.
is Mason.
And Mason, do you think you're going to show some cows sometime, just like your brother? Or a sheep, maybe?
Oh, he's out there with them. He loves them.
Good.
Horses too.
Yep.
Huh.
And then we've got another little showman. Duncan, you've already shown some animals at the fair, haven't you? Are you going to show some animals at the fair this year? What are you going to show? Maybe another beef cow?
Nope.
No?
You tell Miss Donna what your favorite thing here on the farm is.
Sheep, goat.
No, what
your
do you
favorite
like
thing?
the most?
Best
What's your
thing-
favorite animal on the farm? Come over here with Pop-Up.
Miss Donna has
What's
some.
what's in your chicken coop?
Chickens.
Do you like chickens?
He
chicken
loves chickens.
Isn't that fun?
He loves chickens. Like, we keep trying to talk Pop into building chicken houses, so because
Come here, Miss Donna.
he loves chickens.
Miss Donna talk. Miss Donna, then you can play.
That's me.
And we've got CJ's talking to Bonnie. And Bonnie, what's your role here on the farm?
I don't know. I just help when needed.
You're the gopher.
Bonnie, get out here.
I
Cows
took this
around,
one
Bonnie.
straight. But
Stand there, Bonnie.
also
Don't
work
move.
outside- I also work outside the home. I mean,
Okay.
I work in a dental office. I've been there for 18 years.
Right.
So I'm not here a whole lot during the day and stuff, but I'm here on weekends and stuff. So if you're right, like Joyce said, if like the cows get out, stand there, you know, just I do help them when they cook and that kind of stuff. But
Right.
I'm just here.
Yeah. And you keep
And of course I
and you
keep the kids.
Beanie happy.
Yes. And I like fooling with the
That's
kids.
a job all in itself.
That's a job in itself.
And
And I love watching the grandkids, and
Yes.
they're really doing a good job with the animals. They love it up here. So
Yeah. That's
And,
wonderful.
talk about diversifying. We also have 2 school buses. I drive one, and Lori,
who can't be
who's
here?
isn't here right now, Duncan the Forest mom, She drives the other one, and we keep them going. That's
What's wrong with me?
So you've got a lot going on the farm. I mean, you're more than diversified. You've got off the farm employment, school buses, hauling trucks,
shoes on?
animals. I mean, pretty much a little bit of everything. You got your hand in everything.
7 days a week. I mean,
Yep.
there's very few days that we don't have to get up and do something. So.
Yeah, and that's something that people that aren't familiar with the farm life don't understand. Christmas Day,
Cows
You're
get fed
working.
first.
yes. Thanksgiving Day, the cows get fed first.
Everything
Yeah.
comes first. Yeah.
Yeah,
Our-
6 foot of snow,
birthdays,
cows get
Get
fed
fed
yeah,
first.
that's right.
My worst Christmas, I was 10 years old, and everybody always wants to wait Christmas. Snow to me is a 4-letter word.
Yes.
And a bad 4-letter word. You know that yourself. When
Yep.
you got to go out and work in it and try to get the cows up and feed them and milk them, and it was, I can still remember, it was like 9 o'clock that night before we finally got to open up the Christmas presents, because between getting the cows settled and pushing out roads, pushing out laneways, because Dad always had equipment that nobody else did. As far as, we had a bulldozer here that belonged to our uncle for a while. We were always plowing on everybody's laneways, and that's what he loved it. When the last flake of snow fell, he was out the laneway. I don't care. He was gone. And the two of us were like that too. We cannot stand to be inside when it's snowing.
Right.
We got to be outside doing something.
Yeah.
I get like a caged animal. I got to be out here doing something. I can't be sitting here watching it snow.
Yeah, so pretty much it's 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Even when
much.
you don't feel well, you're out there.
Oh yeah.
Yep, yep. So over the years, and I'm sure you can probably think of a lot of instances, what do you think is your greatest accomplishment here on the farm?
Oh boy.
What are you most proud of?
Well, I'm proud of the family.
Yep. That's probably every father's dream that grew up on the farm, is to have their kids want to stay on the farm
Yeah.
and farm with them.
And we're still above water.
And that's a good thing.
Still above water.
And that's tough too.
It is tough. It's very tough.
That's tough. So you think the biggest challenge, I hear a lot of farmers say that weather, inconsistent prices, and regulations.
Yep. Regulations.
Regulations are tough.
Regulations are the worst.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that, and everybody else does too. But sometimes they get a little drastic. Sometimes they're where they should be, they're not. But the prices, they're going to change regardless of whatever.
Right.
They're never going to stay the same.
Yeah.
But it's going to be tough in the next several years, because everything's got a price now. It's going to stay. Grain prices are going to change regardless, because of either too much or not enough.
Right.
So you're going to be good one year, maybe bad the next, whatever.
Yes.
But these regulations are going to make things really hard, because you're going to have so much that you're not going to be able to do anything.
Right.
And it's going to make a big change in later years, I think.
Yes.
Well, it's
The
just like,
Chesapeake Bay is like the greatest thing there ever was, I guess. It's like the ocean or anything. But, and they got to do things to save it or keep it like it is. But it's going to be drastic here. They make some of the changes they're talking about, because farmers going to be history. I mean, it'll cut a lot of it out around here.
Right. Right.
They'll just be growed up in weeds or grass and trees, because we're not going to be able to do anything very close to anything.
Right.
I mean, it's,
Right. This is for the whole family. And I've known you all for a very, very long time. Known the family. I've seen you kids grow up. Remember when you were born. But if somebody were not to know you, or some people that do know you, what would be something unique about your family that people would say, "Oh, I never knew that about the Butlers"? Something unique or something different that you can think of that might surprise somebody and say, "Oh, I never knew that."
Beanie acts rough and tough, but he's not.
everybody calls him the big teddy bear once they get to know him.
Yeah.
And our dad was the same way.
Yes, he was.
Your dad was a very tall man. Very tall man.
He looked
I remember
like-
the first time I met him, I thought, "Oh my goodness, he's a big man."
he looked
He
a lot
always
worse
thought
than
you
what
were
he
the
was.
greatest.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I got to go see Don today. He'd say.
And see, they say the same thing about God. He's a big, but The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Yeah.
I can remember I was 4 or 5 years old. I was in the milk house with Mom. She was washing the milkers, and we heard Dad yell. So we come busting out of the door, and whenever Dad, like I say, he liked the cows, but he didn't really like working with them. But when the bulls would get bad, then he'd get rid of them very shortly, because he was the one who would have to go out and walk the cows up from the woods. We'd always have them out back there where those are at now, and that was Mom and Ma's job, go out and get the cows every day or whatever. And this one particular, we heard him scream. Well, we came out, and the bull, who was a registered bull, who had been a show bull, had picked him up, as big as he was, picked him up with his horn and was just holding him in the air. And Dad very calmly turned around. He had a pitchfork in his hand. He very calmly just tapped him on his neck, and the bull just very gently put him back down. And I still can envision that in my mind right now, and I know it happened.
Yeah.
And but the bull didn't stay much longer. The bull, he got the bull by the ring, and the bull left a few days later. He had enough of him, but Dad was a big man, and he's at his 375 and 6'4"
Wow.
when he was at his biggest.
Wow, that's incredible. 6'4".
And then the diabetes got to whittling him away, and
yeah,
that's what happens. And that's the thing with us with the health too. I mean, we try to keep him healthy. But he's got a touch of this and a touch of that, and when you get 60 now, they say 60 is the new 40, but I mean, I'm 59. Some days I feel like I'm 20, sometimes I feel like I'm 80.
Depending on how the cow days go.
I saw a t-shirt the other day, and it said, if my shirt is clean, it's because I haven't fed the cows yet. As you can see, I'm trying to hide my dirty spot right now. But I watched my mother when she stopped having to milk the cows, and which she loved, getting outside. She started to slow up, and her health got really bad. So I pushed myself, and I don't know. I don't like going to the doctor or anything. So I did get a hip replaced but that was because of horse threw me. But I mean, you try to keep healthy, just because you can't do this if you don't feel good.
Right.
And like I say, we try to keep him going, and
yeah,
because we don't want to shut this place down. Yeah. And that's what our father instilled in us, that we want his kids, because I have none. We want his kids to have this,
right?
Because he gave this to us. We want to give this to them,
right?
And hope that that there is still something here to give to them.
Yeah,
that's what I made the remark yesterday to Jennifer. Her boys were out here playing on the cement, and I said, "Do you suppose in 50 years they're going to say, 'Hey, I remember when Pop poured this'?" Because when they were ripping the old cement up, I was 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
7 or 8 when it was poured.
Right.
And the old solid, when we pushed it down. I mean, I was almost in tears. Like, I can remember those guys coming and putting the solid. I can remember pouring the cement because I helped.
Yeah.
And my name was in it. And now it's all gone, but now it's new. And I said, I hope they can be able to say, hey, 50 years ago, we watched Pop do this.
Well, you put your name in the cement. Now you've got the new cement, and I'm sure the boys have their names in it somewhere. So it's the next generation coming through. So we just want to say congratulations to you again, and thank you for all your dedication, service to the county, service to agriculture. You're what we all hope to be, a generational farm, generational family, and, long past my time, Duncan, maybe you'll be sitting where your dad's sitting, and we're going to be recognizing you for all the dedication that you and your kids and your nephews are going to contribute to Queen Anne's County, and hopefully your grandfather and your father made that mark on you to carry that tradition on. I know you all help a lot of kids at the 4-H fair, bringing animals down, even when the nephews were too young to show. You still were offering that service. Joyce Ann, we see you bringing those steers down to the fair for the kids to show. And
everybody says, why are you doing it? Because I love it. I mean, I like being in the middle of everything. That's my problem.
Well, and that's, that keeps that tradition going. The fair means a lot to a lot of people. And without your help bringing those animals down there, that wouldn't happen.
See, I've seen it. It's like Caroline County Fair. I shouldn't say this, but I mean, it's nothing. We go there, but I mean, there's nothing to do.
Talbot County,
Talbot County's.
they got a lot of people, a lot of good people in both counties that,
Yes.
and the 4-H don't mean that much to them.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't realize all this till down to the Talbot County Fair last Wednesday.
Right.
A lot of people were from Delaware.
Yeah.
Half the people.
Yeah.
And they said the only reason they come here now is because the only fair they have in Delaware is the state fair.
Right.
I didn't realize they didn't have
No
any
county
county
fairs.
fairs or
County
anything.
So it's nice to have the local,
They wanna come
our
to-
fair is
yeah.
just fantastic. And, there's so much to offer. There's so many cow shows. And now, Jennifer, you get to see
Flowers.
your boys showing, and it hasn't been that long ago when you were showing, So it's fun to see. And I'm sure it makes you all very proud to see the grandchildren and the nephews and, and your great nephews out there showing. And it's just got to be exciting for you.
This was one until she was 12 years old, didn't want to get dirty. And then all of a sudden I said, hey, we're going to show steers. And she's like, whatever. And we went to the show because and she said, there are girls showing. I said, yeah, there are girls that show cows. And the first time that she really got her, she had a really bad steer. And Dad was very, he didn't want to really, not that he didn't want to do it, but he said, these kids aren't going to do this but this one year, so we borrowed a lot of things. We borrowed a chute, I still have my old tack box that he built me. And we borrowed a shoe, and he was very receptive about this. He didn't know whether he really wanted, and the first day that she came running to him that she had walked her steer, and she had mud and goo up to her knees, and he had never seen her like that before. I mean, she had always, and she's going, Papa, I actually walked him today. I actually walked him by myself today. And from then on, if I wanted to buy something, it was okay. We bought the chutes, and we bought a trail. Before that, we just had a cow truck.
Still buying.
We're still buying. Ask Heather Emerson. I'm like, she's got my credit card on right there on the line. She's
still buying.
We're still
buying.
I love
You just
it.
want to keep the kids showing.
I
Yeah,
do.
it's all worth it when you see them out there and they've got a big grin on their face when they get that blue ribbon or
They get
red
any kind
ribbon
of-
or
any
whatever
kind of
kind of
ribbon,
ribbon. It just, it's all worth it, to see the happiness on their face, like I did it,
Yeah.
Just like Jennifer, the first time she said she walked it. I'm sure CJ and Duncan felt the same way. Like I actually did this.
She was. Her and Duncan were just so much different as far as Duncan just went in with a grin on his face, and I'm here, and everything's cool.
Yep.
And she was everything had to be so perfect, and she's
a school teacher.
Everybody thought that she didn't enjoy doing it. She would just get so into it, and I remember one judge one day said, I don't think this young lady, I mean, she's doing a wonderful job, but does she really want to be here? And I'm like, yes, this is how she focuses.
That's just me.
And Duncan's in there like, I'm good, And we always called him our little steer jockey because we did all the clipping, and he would walk them, but he didn't want to do anything else. But he'd go in there and win everything. So.
Jennifer was the pig rider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She hated the hogs. She's like me. She hates hogs, but she had one
get
tournament. I went right through her legs one day, and she rode him all the way around the ring. And Howard Meredith Jr., he grabbed her as she was coming over. He said, Troy said, I'm sorry, but she was too big for me to hold up. I couldn't help it, but I got her off. I said, I know you did, Howard Jr. Don't worry about it. It's good. She was laughing, but it was hysterical.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's fun. And we look forward to seeing you Wednesday night at the fair. It's very exciting for me to be here with you and recognize your family. And again, thank you for all your dedicated years of service. And congratulations. And we'll see you Wednesday night at the fair.
Alrighty, we'll be there.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
there, I'm pretty sure.